We want to turn our attention this half hour to Newberry County as the winter storm moves towards South Carolina. Newberry is expected to be one of the hardest hit areas.
Yeah, we know the Sheriff's Department is already preparing for dangerous road conditions, possible power outages, and emergency calls that could increase as the storm moves in.
That's right. Now joining us now, Newberry County Sheriff Lee Foster to explain how they're getting ready and what residents should do before the conditions worsen. Good morning, Sheriff Foster.
Good morning to y'all.
Yes, sir. Now, my first question, how is the department preparing for the winter weather headed our way?
Well, we've been meeting and going over all our emergency operations plans, making schedules, getting everybody ready. You just said Newberry is expected to be the hardest hit. It seems that's the way all the time. I'd ask Tim Miller, why is it that way? But we're getting ready.
Sir, I literally thought about that. You guys do seem to always be the hardest hit when it comes to severe weather.
And when you talking about that severe weather, you know, when people think minor issues, what's one minor issue that people think that's not a big issue but later turns into an issue when we see that severe weather coming into our area?
Well, you're going to find this maybe odd, but this is a rural area. And if you lose power in rural areas, most people have well pumps. So the well pump doesn't work because of electricity. They don't have water. And if you don't have water stockpile, you can't flush your toilets. So stockpile your water, fill your bathtub with water, so at least you can flush your toilet and have some sanitary conditions. But, you know, we don't have a wide provided water. Most water is provided through their own personal well.
That's such good information, Sheriff Foster. Stockpile that water. Now let's also talk about road conditions. As you mentioned, Newberry County is more rural. So what are you the most concerned about when it comes to road conditions, and what should drivers do?
Well, drivers should actually just stay home. Make yourself prepared in the next couple of days, several hours to sustain yourself, even if you don't have power, and rather than having to get out, because just a tenth of an inch of ice, that's not much, but a tenth of an inch of ice on the road becomes extremely hazardous. The other thing that happens is, even though the DOT I think is doing great getting out ahead of the storm, you have this black ice where you have the puddles that freeze over and you can't see it until you hit it. So driving is going to be extremely hazardous. So try to avoid getting out at all possibilities.
Absolutely. And Sheriff Foster, you know, when we think about your deputies that are out on these dangerous highways and byways during these severe weather conditions, we don't necessarily think about the impacts on them or the risk that they face. What are some of the risks that your deputies face when they're out on these roads?
Well, they have to drive on it as well to get to the calls for the service. And we're going to come. We just may not be able to get there as quick as we would like or as you would like, but we're going to come. We have a pretty good fleet of four-wheel drive vehicles because we are a rural area. However, on ice, four-wheel drive, a little bit better, but it's not great. Instead of two wheels spinning, you got four wheels spinning. But our worry really is if we're on the side of the road trying to help somebody, the car spins out of control. And you've seen the memes and the TikTok videos of cars going out of control on ice and can't stop and sliding hundreds of yards. So that's our biggest concern for our people.
Absolutely, Sheriff. And when you talk about those cars spinning out of control, if someone does get into a situation like that, what should they do? Should they stay in the car? Should they hop out? What should they do?
Well, it would be preferable to get out of the car and get to a place of safety, but you're safer in the car than you are outside of it, especially in icy conditions. So if you can't get to a place of safety, just stay with the car.
sir. Sheriff Foster, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this morning, to give us an insight on how you guys are preparing and what we as community members can do to stay safe. We appreciate you, and I will directly take your concern about severe weather hitting Newberry County hard all the time to Tim, and as soon as we get that answer, I'll let you know.
Well, maybe Tim could enlighten us and help us understand. We may not be paying the preacher enough. I don't know, but we need some help up here. Helene was bad, and I think they're gonna call this storm Fern. So help us with Fern too.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.